Good afternoon, everyone. We have a series of significant announcements to make. We don't walk through all the material. There are certainly the department content experts here with us. A number of other agencies that are part of our snow fighting or weather event team. So just hanging in with me. There's a ton of material to get through. Obviously, we'll have an extensive Q&A when we're done. Let me first try to set a little bit of context for just where we are at the moment, what has been going on during the course of this winter season. This is highly unusual weather and weather patterns that we've been experiencing, not just here in Philadelphia, but I would suggest, as often I'm talking with other mayors and government officials up and down the East Coast in particular, all of us are pretty much in the same weather pattern and experiencing many of the same challenges. So far this winter season, we have received 43.4 inches of snow officially. The normal amount at this time of year is about 22 inches. 43.4 inches so far this season. Normally we get 22 inches at this time of year. If we get 6 inches or more with this particular storm, it will be the first time in the city's history that we have had 4 6-inch plus storms in one season. That would be a historic moment in Philadelphia. Additionally, if we get 6 or more inches with this particular storm, this winter will move into the top 5 snowiest winters in recorded history for the city of Philadelphia. This will be our 13th mobilization for a winter storm event this season. We've also had 2 unexpected ice storms impact the city, not including the major ice storm that occurred last week on February 5th. For the upcoming 13th storm, forecasts are calling for a nor'easter beginning late tonight and lasting for at least 24 hours. This will be a high-impact storm, not just for the city, but for the entire region. It appears that today's afternoon rush hour should be normal, as precipitation is expected to arrive a little later into the evening. The snowfall will intensify after midnight, with significant accumulation before sunrise. So to keep that point in mind as we discuss some of the other actions that we'll be taking. Snowfall will intensify after midnight with significant accumulation before sunrise. But as with all nor'easters and snowstorms in general, well, you know as well as I do, there's a lot of variability in any forecast. We get our information both from all of you out there, National Weather Service, and a variety of other sources. But everyone seems at the moment to be calling this about the same. Right now, the best estimate is that there will be a changeover to a wintry mix of sleet and rain late tomorrow morning and into the afternoon, and then switching back, changing back to snow again tomorrow night. We could see more accumulation of snow tomorrow night and into the early hours of Friday morning before this is completely over. Temperatures. Tonight, we expect the low 20s. Tomorrow, they should climb to the lower to mid-30s. Tomorrow night, back into the 20s. My notes say the good news is, take that. The good news is Friday's forecast calls for temperatures in the upper 30s. It will be a heat wave. Which, of course, will help with our plowing efforts. The best forecast for accumulation right now is an anticipated 6 to 12 inches in the city of Philadelphia. If the storm track moves further inland, temperatures will be warmer, resulting in less snow. If it moves further offshore, there will be more cold air, and we will see even a greater accumulation of snow. Again, we're giving our best estimates based on all the tracking and all the services that we're engaged with. This is going to be a heavy, wet snow. With that type of snow, you know as well as I do, trees and power lines are in even greater danger of being brought down. We're not expecting an ice storm similar to what we saw last week. The end result, though, could quite possibly be the same. Heavy, wet snow, trees, and power lines is not only very dangerous, given what's been going on, and the 6 inches last week, and the ice storm last week, we could see significant trees coming down, and trees hitting power lines and knocking them down. With regard to schools, decisions about closing or delaying the opening of City of Philadelphia offices will be made later on today or tonight, more than likely sometime later this afternoon. So I don't have any direct information with regard to City of Philadelphia operations at this moment. But we will contact you and let you know, and of course let the public and our public employees know later this afternoon about our steps. We encourage citizens, please stay tuned to local media for that particular announcement. Decisions about closing or delaying Philadelphia school district schools will be hopefully made later on today or tonight. I can report that the Archdiocese of Philadelphia has already decided to close schools tomorrow on Thursday. Archdiocesan schools are closed tomorrow on Thursday. We're awaiting a decision by the Philadelphia School District as to what they will do. Snow emergency. We are planning to declare a snow emergency in the City of Philadelphia through the Managing Director's Office beginning at 8 o'clock p.m. tonight. Again, Managing Director's Office will declare a snow emergency beginning at 8 p.m. tonight in the City of Philadelphia. For citizens, this means that all parked cars must be moved from snow emergency routes during and until we officially end the snow emergency. Get information about snow emergency routes on the Streets Department website. I'm sure my notes are going to give me all of that data in a few minutes. If you park on a snow emergency route after 8 o'clock p.m., your vehicle will be relocated. You will spend the rest of the year trying to figure out where it is. Please be aware, again, if you don't move your car off of a snow emergency route, you will be ticketed and or towed, or as we nicely like to say, relocated. If your car was relocated, you can call 215-686-SNOW to find it. Do not call 911. This may be an emergency to you. It's an inappropriate use of the 911 call system, which is only for life or death situations. Philadelphia Parking Authority will be offering a garage parking discount beginning at 5 o'clock p.m. today at locations in Center City to assist with the effort of getting cars off the road. Following garages will charge a flat $5 fee until the end of the snow emergency. I assume that's on a daily basis. This is not $5 forever. It's $5 a day until the end of the snow emergency, which hopefully we'll declare soon. That's the Auto Park at JFK, 16th and JFK. Auto Park at Independence Mall, 5th and Market. Auto Park at Jefferson. 10th and Ludlow, Auto Park at the Gallery, 10th and Filbert, Auto Park at Old City, 2nd and Sansom, and the 8th and Filbert Street Garage. To receive the discounted $5 rate, the customer must bring their ticket and pay at the Parking Authority Management Office in each of those garages. When the snow emergency begins, the Philadelphia Parking Authority will enforce all snow emergency and safety violations. Meter and time limit violations will not be enforced until the snow emergency is lifted. Again, be mindful. Don't park on a snow emergency route, even if it has a meter in it. It will be relocated. Streets Department. Streets Department and the Philadelphia Parking Authority are prepping their plows as we speak. We will use 400 pieces of equipment and over 700 employees will be working during the course of this event. The challenge that our crews face with this storm is that it is expected to be a long duration storm. Remember I mentioned earlier, some way, shape, or form, snow, sleet, or rain. This is an anticipated 24-hour event of some kind of activity, as well as with heavy accumulation in the beginning and again in the end. Our troops are storm fighters, but they have been fighting numerous storms all year long. They have done an incredible job. They will continue to do a great job, but they also need cooperation from the public and the public's patience. I want to commend our public employees for what they've done, and for what I know they will continue to do because they fight storms. There's a lot of of residual salt on the streets from the last few storms, but we've already began pre-treating and grinding major roadways yesterday in advance of this particular storm. The city does in fact have adequate salt supplies to manage through this storm. We know that this will be a marathon cleanup effort based on the level and the intensity of the storm that will stretch into the weekend before we can consider our work to be completely done. We will do everything we can to clear our streets as best we possibly can, and won't stop working until the work is done. Trash collection and recycling. Trash and recycling will be suspended on Thursday and Friday of this week. Residents with normal Thursday or Friday trash collections are asked to hold their trash until their next regularly scheduled day, which is either Thursday or Friday. All driveway trash and recycling collections are suspended. All trash and recycling collections are suspended next week. Residents must place collections curbside on their regularly scheduled day next week. I say that one more time. All driveway trash and recycling collections are suspended next week. Ask residents to place their collections curbside on their regularly scheduled day next week. There will be normal trash recycling collections on Monday, February 17th, which is President's Day, despite the fact that it's a holiday. If Monday is your regular collection day, place your collections out on Monday. We will maintain normal outside collections through next week. Again, we know that Monday is a holiday. We are collecting Monday trash on Monday. Normally it would be, of course, the next day. This affects everyone, so let me say it one more time. Despite the holiday next week, we will have trash collections on this upcoming Monday. Put your trash out on your normal regular collection day. Do not delay one day as we typically do in the holiday week because of the facts of this particular storm. Driving, as always, use extreme caution when driving. Bridges and overpasses are usually where slippery spots. Bridges and overpasses are usually where slippery spots first develop. Be sure to leave at least 6 car lengths between your car and any snow fighting equipment you encounter on the roads to allow room for salting or other activities. Please remove ice and snow from your car windows, your mirrors, your hood, the roof, and all lights before driving a vehicle. Since we expect many businesses and some schools to be closed tomorrow, please stay off the roads if at all possible. We're urging, again, caution, but also the reason we ask folks to try their best to stay off the roads is our snow fighting teams can do their work that much better, and they're not trying to get around other vehicles or worry about pedestrians and others in the street. Quite honestly, it is safer for you and will allow the plows to do their work more efficiently if there is less traffic. Second, we anticipate that bus routes will face the normal challenges that they've been facing, and they're preparing for that. SEPTA will run the Broad Street line and Market Frankfurt L through the night in lieu of late-night bus service. Please check SEPTA's website, www.septa.org, or on Twitter @SEPTA for updates on cancellations or detours. Other updates and information. The city's Emergency Operations Center is preparing to activate at 8 o'clock p.m. tonight, which is at the same time, of course, as the snow emergency declaration. They'll be monitoring operations all across the city overnight and through the event tomorrow. The 311 call center will begin operating at 6 a.m. tomorrow to take calls for non-emergencies. Reports of downed trees should be reported to 311 unless it is a true emergency. PHL, Airport, Philadelphia International Airport. There have already been cancellations in anticipation of the weather, and we expect more. Call your carrier or 1-800-PHL-GATE before going out to the airport. Citizens should contact Project Homes Outreach Hotline 215-232-1984. If they see a person who is homeless or someone laying on the streets in need of assistance during the course of the storm. And under Code Blue, most of the winter, certainly if you see someone out, please do not just walk past them. Call this hotline and let's get that person, that human being, off the streets. No one should be laying out in the streets at any time, certainly not during this weather. Let me remind all of our property owners, you're required to clear a path of 3 feet in front of your property within 6 hours of the snow event ending, including at the curb cuts if you live on a corner. Health notes. Shoveling snow is a high-intensity exercise. That's what you want to call it. So those who are not used to regular exercise should work slowly and be cautious. And again, this will be a heavy, wet snow. This is not the light, fluffy stuff. This will be even heavier because of the water content in the snow. Some of our senior citizens and folks with back problems, heart problems, or other challenges, including high blood pressure, should refrain from the kind of physical exertion that comes with shoveling snow or walking long distances. So let us be that city of brotherly love and sisterly affection. Look out for our senior neighbors, those who may be sick or shut in, help them with groceries, clearing a path, and all of those good neighborly things. Okay, we want to encourage you to push the snow. Don't try to lift it. If you lift it, use your legs, not your back. I am not medically trained in any way, shape, or form, but these other notes coming from the health department. Drink water during breaks to avoid dehydration. Breathing cold air drops moisture from your body with every breath. So again, we want you to be careful while you're outside doing what you're doing. In conclusion, we've been through a record-breaking season so far. We'll continue to fight this storm as we've been fighting them all winter. We'll do everything we can to get our streets as clear as possible, as quickly as possible. I want to ask for your patience and your understanding. And certainly, again, our troops are out there and will work until the work is done. I'm very proud of the work that all of our various crews have done and will continue to do. And as always, they will continue until the job is done. If you're out shoveling, please help us out. This is a very, very important point. We've had some challenges with this during the course of the many snowstorms. Please try to clear snow away from any fire hydrants if you live near one. There's one at the corner. There's one near your house. Try to clear the area around that fire hydrant. Do not throw snow back into the street. It may sound relatively simple. Most people actually adhere to it. Some don't for some reason. Do not throw snow back into the streets as you try to dig out your car, clear a path, whatever it is that you're doing. I understand that it's got to go somewhere. Do not throw it in the streets. The streets department actually will be seeking to monitor this kind of activity, and you can certainly be fined for throwing snow back in the street. Because of the nature of the storm, again, the varying temperatures, that snow going back into the street can become what we call hardpack. It will literally adhere to the asphalt in the street, making it virtually impossible, even with plows, to get that material out of the way. Again, I cannot overemphasize, and then we'll answer questions, we will need patience. Weather is one of the most unpredictable circumstances in life. We will do our best, not only in our preparations, but also in our efforts. We actually, when all is said and done, you just don't completely know until it happens what the weather is going to throw at us, and then we adjust to it. We do need your patience to get through this. We'll get through it. I know we can, and I have full confidence in our team and the plans that they put forward. And with that, any one of us can try to answer any questions that you might have.
I'm sorry, I was a little confused on the trash. Did you say trash and, you said to withhold, not to put out trash and recycling, that's suspended next week, but put out, is it the driveway? All right, what is it? What is suspended next week? Driveway, that's separate from your regular trash.
Oh, just hold on. I'll give you the whole thing.
Just that part is.
Trash and recycling collections will be suspended for Thursday and Friday, if that's your regular day.
Right.
That's that. All driveway trash and recycling collections. Some people get their trash picked up on the driveway side, some people get on the front. Those are suspended next week. We want those folks to put their trash on the front of their property next week. No driveway trash or recycling in the driveway pickups next week. Those are suspended all week. We want that out on the front. If your trash day is Monday, which also happens to be a city holiday, normally you would put your trash out on Tuesday. Because of the nature of the storm, we're actually going to pick up trash on the holiday Your day is Monday, put it out Monday, we're gonna pick it up.
Why not make a decision right now about city employees? You know what the weather's gonna be, why would you wait on that?
Because we have a few other conversations to have, and we're still monitoring the weather pattern. You're gonna know in a couple hours.
Mayor, you mentioned,
That'll be a big announcement, we'll see.
you mentioned the snow has to go somewhere. You right down the street, we see mounds of snow from our, obviously, recent storm season we had. Is there any plan at all to try to help unclog the area? Obviously, having 6 to 10 inches of snow on top of what's been piled up already in parking lots and along the street. Is there any plan at all this evening to try to move any of that out of the way? I know a lot of it's thick ice at this point.
Yeah, much of it is frozen, so it's not the, 6 new inches from last week. It's now mostly frozen now. I'll let Dave try to address that. I mean, again, it is a great challenge when they come on top of each other, on top of each other, on top of each other. But we're asking folks to try to be as patient and creative as possible. But also, again, the folks come down the street, they clear, hopefully a pretty decent pathway for driving, and then all of a sudden you have people throwing it right back in the street as they try to make their car out. It defeats the whole purpose and actually makes the road that much more dangerous. So, piling it at the curb, piling it up against your house, depending on the nature of your property and what your circumstances, but we need you to not throw it in the street.
In the Center City area, typically we do what's known as a lifting operation, where we bring in construction equipment and dump trucks and pick the snow up around the corners in Center City. We anticipate doing that type of operation on Friday morning. At this point, we haven't made a decision as to whether we're going to do that in other areas of the city. It all depends on how this storm unfolds.
Going the other part of the answer to your question is, closing the city government is not just a singular or autonomous decision. When the city government closes, it has a ripple effect in a variety of areas, and we take it as a part of our responsibility to touch base with any number of other entities. They're not necessarily part of the executive branch of the government, business community, schools, et cetera, et cetera. If and when we, on any of that, as we have in the past, if we shut the city government, it has a ripple effect with a whole lot of other entities, and we try to do our best not to, unilaterally, singularly, out of nowhere, kind of make that call without touching base with a whole lot of internal and external parts.
I just wanted to follow up on that as far as the lifting operation. And Mayor, this is actually a question for you, mine, about why not do this lifting operation in other parts of the city? Why just Center City? People questioning, they have roads they feel are still untreated. Maybe unplowed, touch it once or twice in the past 2 days, but there are a lot of ice, a lot of snow on a lot of streets in certain parts of the city. So why not do this lifting operation in those parts now? Why just Center City?
I'll let Dave address that. I don't know if you've ever seen the lifting operation in action. What you will normally see is a significant amount of equipment on very wide streets that are usually shut with no access and no traffic, no other activity. You can do those kinds of things on, JFK Boulevard. You can do that on the Ben Franklin Parkway. We'll do our best to get that snow out of there, but you also have to make an operational decision. Are we doing lifting and moving that snow out of there and in very tight quarters in many of our neighborhoods, or are we plowing and utilizing the personnel in that particular fashion? So big wide streets in large areas where you can bring in those kinds of dump trucks and lifters, close an entire roadway for blocks. You can do that kind of operation much more easily than you can in your traditional, probably 32-foot wide or so street in the city of Philadelphia.
The mayor pretty much answered that question. In Center City, we have a room down here to do a lifting operation, And in addition, there's really no other place to put the snow. So on a routine basis, we do the downtown area. It's always on a storm-by-storm basis that we would make a decision to do that in other areas of the city. We just have to see how much snow we get and what the nature of the snowstorm is going to be.
Could you give us an update on the salt situation? It has been a challenging winter, how you're set for it? Salt?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
Salt?
Salt,
Supplies? How you doing with it?
We're fantastic. We have more than enough salt for this particular storm, and we continue to replenish our supplies. But again, I mean, we've had double the amount that we normally have at this time of the year, but we stockpile over the past few years, and we'll be more than fine for this particular storm.
Mr. Mayor, Justin will come tomorrow, come to work, what are the instructions, we suggest that people that are coming into the city the wrong way, especially, south and north sides.
Well, I mean, are you talking about city employees or architecture? Yeah, I mean, I think that this goes back a little bit to Luann's question. When we make an announcement, and I have some updated information for you, I'll give you in a second. In many instances, some companies or businesses, employers, do follow the city's lead in terms of what they do with their employees. If the city is closed, we've got a snow emergency, start to put all that together. I mean, look, if you're an employer in the city of Philadelphia, we've declared a snow emergency, and we think that folks are going to wake up to about 6 inches of snow by sunrise tomorrow. You have to think about whether or not is that something I want to try to drive through. What's the level of set operation at that particular point in time? So I can't tell folks how to manage their workforce, but there's going to come a point where it's just going to be a whole lot better not to be out there. And it's certainly a whole lot easier for us and our teams to be able to do their work. Fewer people that are out, fewer cars and other vehicles that are on the roadway. I mean, what we're trying to do, our goal, of course, is to clean this thing up and get the city back to some level of normalcy in terms of operations as quickly as possible. The fewer people out there, the easier it is to do that work. But again, we'll make an announcement about the city a little later on this afternoon. I can report to you, since we've been here, the school district of Philadelphia has announced that there will be no school tomorrow for school-aged children. I do not know, and they've not made a decision with regard to administrative staff. I guess that announcement will come a little later on. But so far, we have no school for our size schools and no school for public school students. Next question. All right, we'll be back to you soon.